Nepal.
Yes. Olivia, is that you?
It is me. Hi.
Ah,
Hi, Kageki.
yeah, hi. Yeah, long time
Great
no
to
see,
see you.
Yeah.
I've
Olivia, are you in Colorado?
been seeing.
I am in Colorado, yes.
Ah, I see. Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
I almost missed this because I thought it was at a different time.
Ah.
I just happened to see the email and thought, I better get on quick.
Mm. What time is it now in Colorado?
It's 6:30-ish, 6:30 p.m. So
PM. I see. Very different.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Kageki. Shall we start?
Yep, yes.
Okay, so I'll give a short introduction and then we'll start. So most of you know Kageki Asakura. Asakura, right? Kageki?
Yep.
Kageki Asakura, he is an educator, he is an author, he is a researcher, and he is the founder and dean of the world's first democratic university, Shure University. And that is very, very interesting. And I think that's one of the most important part of his introduction. But a lot of things have changed recently about the university. He will tell us more about it. He has worked in Japan's oldest free democratic school and has been an active member of Idec for the past 20 years, or I think even more. His research in democratic education, history and education, and ethnography of youths has led him to visit schools around the world. He works to network free democratic schools internationally. Asakura is also an eminent specialist in Self-Ology, a study of self and by the self. So today he will be talking about the possibilities of democratic university and related topics. He is one of the, for me, he is one of the sweetest person I've ever met. You know, he is extremely sweet. He looks sweet. He talks sweet, and really sweet person. So let's welcome Kageki Asakura to this wonderful event. Thank you.
Thank you, Beta. Your introduction is so nice to me. Thank you. So until 10 for an hour, I can have a time with you, right? Yeah. Yep. Okay. So I try to talk within 45 minutes, and I want to have a time to question and answers. So is it good for you?
Kageki, we have plenty of time if you are free. Okay, we have a lot of time. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We have about 2 hours. We have put 2 hours, and you can go up to 3 hours also. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, I see. So I have a one schedule. So but at least I have a 90 minutes. So that's good for me. But how about you guys? 90 minutes is good for you? Is it too long?
Okay for me.
Okay, yeah. So I will share PowerPoint. So can you see slides of PowerPoint?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So that topic on my presentation is the possibilities of democratic university. I will share the situation of Japan. We have 400, 500 free democratic schools in Japan. Minister of Education researched about it, and they say like that. So most of these are very small scale ones. 20, 30 kids are in each free democratic school. And most of high school age students of such democratic schools choose to study correspondence senior high school program there. It's a little bit tricky because almost all Japanese democratic schools are totally independent from the government. So free democratic schools cannot give the students a senior high graduation diploma. So if senior high age school student wants to have a diploma, they need to take another course. So nowadays, quite many democratic schools have a special relationship with correspondence senior high. So the students of democratic school can take such courses at their democratic schools. So the senior high age student feel they need to choose correspondence senior high program at their democratic school. So this situation we have for 10 or more years. So it means these students are supposed to study national curriculum subjects. They have to take examinations and so on because it's national curriculum. So one of the students told me it's no choice to do so. The English may be strange a bit. So they said the boy told me he felt he had to choose this choice because Japanese society required him or the other young people to get a higher education degree to get jobs. So otherwise, they cannot how to say live. They cannot spend normal life in Japanese society. Oops. Okay. So the key issues is that entrance examination is a social shifter to distribute students to working places. So universities are classified depending on the scores of the entrance examination. Nowadays, the situation is a bit different, but Japanese university students, do not have to study hard because the name of the university is very important when they do job hunting. So if they are studying, the one person is studying at the so-called good university, he or she may get very good job. So many people in the society recognize like that. And another problem only new graduates of the universities or schools are offered sort of authorized regular jobs. So Japanese population has only one chance of one opportunity to get normal jobs in their lifetime. So once a year, so such a students have opportunity to apply companies or governments and so on. So that only one time in a life they have such a huge opportunity. But that's it. So Japanese children and young people must devote their time for preparation of exams. So they study very hard. This situation is not only in Japan, but also in Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, Hong Kong, or many parts of Asia. In Japanese society, the life of Japanese people are highly regulated. At the age of 6, primary school, 12 years old, junior high, 15 years old, senior high, 18 years old, university, and at 22 years old, they get lifelong job, something like that. And around 30 years old, they get married, and the first child may be born around 33 years old, and around 43 or 4, they purchase their apartment house, and at the age of 60, retirement, and at around 90 years old, they go to graveyard. So it is kind of the railway of life. And in Japanese society, efficiency, cost performance, punctuality, these are very, very important. This is just an example of such cases. BBC thought this is a bit strange because one railway company, the train worker, a railway company worker, made an apology just because the train starts 20 seconds earlier than the scheduled time. So accuracy or these kind of things are very important. So Japanese workers are very, how to say, strained about such tiny rules. So many Japanese people, not only young people, but especially young people, feels difficulties of living. So the narrow absolute rail of the standard way of life, and now and that's the second mind is a different issue. School clique in America, people say, but Japanese students say school caste. So there's a kind of a group inside of the school, and these groups, how to say, have a pyramid like structure, higher status, lower status, and so on. And the third one, person must be perfectly independent individual person. So the person should take care of the self by him or herself. And the fourth one, so everyone should take responsibility of their choices. So these kind of values or tendencies become stronger and stronger. So people feel it's the situation become more difficult. So as a result, we have a big population of hikikomori people. I'm not sure hikikomori Japanese word is known in your society, but in Japan and in some countries, people start to use this word hikikomori. Hikikomori means staying at his or her room or house without going out, but rarely they go out. And in Japan, we have a more than 1 million population of hikikomori. They say they don't want to do hikikomori, but there is no way to do it. That's huge, that's big, very big issue in Japanese society. Because of, how to say, many regulations, strict rules or values in Japanese society, once people cannot follow such a situation, cope with such a situation, such people are labeled as dropout or something like that. So so if the person himself or herself labeled as an inferior person, it is very difficult for the person to going out from his or her house, because in such a situation, such a person feels it's very dangerous for the person to see people. So they say they are afraid of meeting the people. So we have such a big population. But this phenomena is, how to say, nowadays not only in Japan, but also in East Asian societies, or even in some European countries, in the States, and so on. So I'm afraid this kind of, how to say, situation is becoming, this situation, becoming expanding. So this is a picture of metro in Bangalore. Fena Amukta and her colleagues hosted Idec. I enjoyed to using that metro. I think it was punctual. So of course, punctual public transportation system is quite comfortable. But if it is very, very, very accurate and strict, maybe that society is very close to Japanese society, maybe. And democratic university is very, very important for people who want to spend very humane life, I think. And so as Veda introduced me, I started Shure University 1999 with 6 young people. Of course, lots of colleagues helped us. And this time, Shure University students and me and some other people wants to how to say, change the structure And so we, until this summer, Shure University was a part of Tokyo Shure. That's at Tokyo Shure, we have a free democratic schools as well. And this summer, Shure University people moved and become independent because we started Tokyo Do. Later, I will explain this. Oops. So this is a sign of Tokyo Do. So sorry about the picture. The actual sign is much nicer, but the picture is too small. We started Tokyo Do. Tokyo Do means Do is abbreviation DEW, Democratic Education and Working. Now we use one floor of 4-story building, and other three floors. There are Tokyo Central Office of Japan Workers Cooperative Union, Shinjuku and Nakano. That is, how to say, their work is visiting aged people to support their life. And another organization is Vocational Support Station for the people younger than 40-year-old. And another vocation center for cooperative union organizations. So these 4 organizations and our democratic university are in one building. And we named the building Tokyo Do. So because we think it's very important to have an organic collaboration with democratic working organization. So these 4 adopts the same working ideas. That's workers cooperative union. So they don't have a employer-employee relationship. So all the workers bring some capital, a small amount of money, and they run their working places together. Actually, in Japan, we have a big movement of workers' cooperative union. More than nearly 65,000 workers are working in such a workers' cooperative. And number of working places is about 500 all through the country. So we think that's important. Democratic education and the democratic working should have some kind of organic relationship. So that's why we have started Tokyo Do. And but of course, our activity has a huge continuity. So our students really keen about to know who I am. So they want to know who they are. And so whatever they are interested in, they can start classes or the project. So now about 30 classes in the projects we have. So all these offered and designed by students, and they can do try and errors. And so through these experiences, they will find their own special interest for their lifelong time. So once they find such a special interest of the person, so the person deepens the interest, maybe visual design, maybe web page building, or maybe shooting film or whatever. So, and then they will have a pilot project. So through a pilot project, they will earn money through experiences with professional people. So this is an example of the calendar. So almost every year, students design a calendar and they sell it through the stores in Tokyo or through internet shop. And we also have nowadays we have a 4-5 pilot project, social welfare, filmmaking, publishing books or magazines, and so on. And another important activity is creation of own lifestyle course. This is the name. They like this name, and what they do is to reflect life experience. So these are the categories of the themes. So they investigate their own life experience and they make a presentation. As I told you, Japanese society is a very strict type of society. So they've got quite a lot of negative image of the self. So, but it's not easy to live with such a negative self-images. So they try to tell, they try to, how to say, dissolve such a negative image of the self. So they tell their own experience about such a negative self-image. And the other students carefully listen to such a presentation, and yeah, they share. The other people also share own experiences with the presentator. So this time is very important for them. And some students wants to deeply think about their experiences in their pastime. So Self-Ology is a kind of sociological research about the self. So they spend almost 1 year for one study. So they write a paper, and our students publish annuals of these papers every year. And they make a public event for such a self-ology study. So that's also a very important part of our activity. So they say they can become more, how to say, they can feel free, or they can be the self through such a self-ology study. This is a very important part. And the name of the new democratic university is TDU. So at TDU, like the other democratic school, so learner directed place. So they decide how many years they study. And graduation is a very important part as well. So when, before that, every year at the beginning of academic year, each student make a plan for the year. So what is their interest and what they want to study or what they want to do through the year. And half a year later, each student adjusts their plan. And at the end of the academic year, each student make a presentation of the year. So what happened in the year? So they make presentation. So many people ask questions about the presentation and so on. And so through these years, and if the student feel the person is ready to graduate from TDU, so the person make their graduation year plan. So this year will be the last year at TDU. So so that year will be the final year at the TDU. So at the end of the final year, the student make a presentation for graduation. So it takes nearly an hour and for one person, and almost the same amount of time. We have a question and answer sessions. And after that, we have a very special time, the clapping of destiny. So the audience student explains about the timing of graduation, depending on according to the presentation and question and answer sessions. So if the audience person think this is a very good time for the student to graduate from TDU, the audience make a very big clapping. And if the audience think this timing may be bit too early for the student, maybe small clapping, or maybe even no clapping. So total volume of clapping express how the student feel the timing of graduation. But the total volume of the clapping doesn't decide the graduation. Hearing the volume of clapping, the student, him or herself, make decisions. So even though huge clapping happens, the student can say, "Thank you for huge clapping, but I'm sure I need another year to study here." So that's yeah, totally up to the student. You know, we have never such a situation, but it may be happen. Nobody claps, but the student can say, "Oh, it's pity I have no clapping, but yeah, it's crystal clear for me. It's right time for me to graduate from TDU. So the student can say like that. So this is a very special moment. So every March, at the end of March, we have such a graduation presentations. So this is a very basic framework of TDU. And at TDU, the relationship with the graduates are also very important. We have some study time with the graduates. So one of the example is lifestyle course is the name of it. Because as I told you, Japanese society have a very strict image about life course of the people. So people are expected to have a lifelong job, of course, full-time job for 30, 40 years at one company or the government and so on. But is it only one way of working? So, so once we discuss about the possibilities of another way of working, so one example was a British person's case. The person had 3 jobs, and as a total, the person has enough income to survive. So it was a very shocking findings for some students, because in Japanese society, it's not good way of working. So such a course was run not only by the student but also with the graduates. So the connection with the graduate very important. And nowadays, gradually, the society starts to pay attention to Democratic University. Just 5 days ago, something like that, Asahi Shimbun newspaper is one of the biggest newspaper company, wrote an article about TDU, and this is a front page of Tokyo Shimbun newspaper. They wrote a big article about TDU because Japanese society have a big problem, and many people needs to find a way, another way of living. So it's not so huge movement, but little by little, people pay attention to another way of life. So and perhaps I told you about the law for democratic education. It passed in 2016, but it's not enough good. So we need to revise. So the next phase is the revision of the law. And the law is very limited. So we need to revise the law and democratic education for all at any time is very important. And the third one is accreditation is always the problem. So group of people in Japan is discussing about foundation of accreditation organization, but it's a tricky issue. This is another very big topic. So we think it is very, very important. Anyone who wants to study can study in the most appropriate environment for the person at any time. So it doesn't mean not only for child, of course, children have such a right to do so, but also adult people can do such a thing. That is also very important. And nowadays, I think it's very important. We need to have a, how to say, more democratic way of life. So respecting the self and respecting the other people. So democratic education and democratic working and democratic living is very important, I think. So this is the logo of new university at the moment, but they say this is a temporal one. So we will have a new one maybe in the near future. And tekisen means a drop of water carves a very hard stone, because the name of the building is Tokyo Dew. So dew has another meaning, a drop of water. So we name New Democratic University TDU. So this is my presentation. So I want to spend more time with your talking. Okay. So please feel free and ask questions or comments and so on.
Hello, my name is Christian. I'm from San Diego. Nice to meet you. Thank you for your presentation.
Nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to learn about this. I'm wondering how it goes for the students after they graduate. How does it go for them? I mean, number one, in the working world, what are their experiences like? What types of struggles do they have? And then also socially, you talked about kind of the culture of Japan, but they go through this experience where they self-reflect at a deep level, it seems, and I wonder if that helps them kind of with their self-confidence, and are they able to find friendships in normal society? Does this what is it like generally kind of reintegrating into society when it's such a strict culture as you explained?
So first, of a graduate, how to say, they have a diversity of way of living. Some for example, in one case, one student joined the pilot project of filmmaking. So the student had many correspondence with the professional filmmaking people, and the person was hired by the one of the filmmaking company. So it happens, and the other case, a group of students decided to start their own firm, a social firm. That's another way. And other students also choose to be a freelance worker, independent worker, individual worker. So it's so diverse. So some people become librarians, and the others working at aged people's home. So yeah, like that. And we have a good relationship with some working places, and our student can have a internship at these working places too. So sometimes they get jobs at these working places. And from this summer, we moved to new building. So this building is shared with workers cooperatives. So that's another huge possibility. So that is the answer for the first question. Is it right? The second question, I'm not so sure I understand your question properly, but as I understand, in Japanese society is very strict society, and so because of the very strict society, quite often, quite many people have a negative self-image. So it's very, it's not easy to live with such a negative self-image. So Self-Ology are very, very important for them. So they can change such a negative self-images. So as you tell, they can have a self-confidence. So they say they can be the self through such a study. Is this answer for your question?
Oh, I was wondering more in terms of once they graduate, if they're accepted by more conventional people in society, are they accepted? Are they able to make friends, or are they looked down upon by society as a whole in Japan?
So how do we scale the acceptance by the conventional society? That's a difficult question, and but they feel they are accepted because they can have a ordinary conversation with the conventional society people, and they spend sort of a regular social life. So they feel they are accepted. But conventional people say they are very brave. They say our students are very brave because they took very risky choices. So conventional way of life is how to say um, 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 it is a safe way because there are many cases examples already and secured. I don't know the proper English word, but it's not dangerous. It's not risky. A conventional way of living, but TDU it's a very minor way of living and no guarantee maybe from their point of view. So they sometimes they say to study at the TDU is a very brave choice.
May I have one more question from my side? Yeah,
Please.
thanks, Kageki. You have got very wonderful presentation here about the different cultural aspects in Japan. I have been wondering about how the students they get access when they have completed their high school and then they go for senior high school. At the time, do they have the similar access for high school and the senior high school for the curriculum and all of the things? Is that exactly similar, or do they face any challenges when shifting from second high school to senior high school?
Uh, in Japan, we have a 6-year primary school and then 3-year junior high and 3-year senior high.
Oh, yeah.
And you ask the gap between junior high and senior high?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And primary school and junior high, these two type of schools are compulsory education. So there is no entrance examination to get into junior high, but to get into senior high, entrance examination is required. So junior high school students must prepare for entrance examination of senior high. And at senior high, because it's not compulsory education, so they have to um, be their classes more than a sixth, seventh. My English is not so good about the numbers. Um, uh, so more than 70-80% of the school days they have to be. They cannot absent from more than 1/7 of the class days.
Oh, I
That's
see.
the regulation of senior high. Sorry about my bad English.
Yeah, that's okay. It is somehow clear. And also, just I was wondering one more thing about, well, doing the university. So students, do they have still the democraticness? How they are connected? Do they have to face any particular curriculum, or they might have to face written examinations to obtain or to get the certificate? However, they can go in the community or in the when there is government job, government announces some jobs once in a year, as you said before, and then at the time of that job is announced, so that they can apply for getting a job that is permanent for the life, permanent job, so that they might, do they have any particular certificate having exact curriculum that is followed in the university?
Um, you asked about our university.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Actually, they can choose. If they want to have such a, how to say, sheet of paper, we will issue it. And usually, our students make a portfolio, what they do. So that's enough, usually. But if they need a set of paper, we will do it.
Portfolio that is done by the university teachers and that is submitted when, or do they, that is made by the students or by the
Student,
teachers? Oh, I see.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just I remember one of the thing, Nanako last year when we were in Sydney, she was interested with photography. So she
Mhm.
has collected all of the photos and made that a photography. So that is really interesting. So I had
Mhm.
the curiosity about exactly other strengths they might have to do the same type of things as a project work so that they can have to submit in the university and they might be assigned. So they might be evaluated on the basis of such type of things and they will be certified. Am I right?
Yeah. So the Nanako's case, she was so interested. She's so interested in visual art, fine art, and so on. So she took a many photograph and she made a lots of films, animation film or other fiction film and so on. And so when she made a presentation of the graduation, she had a kind of, how to say, she showed her portfolio to the other students. So exhibition she did. So yeah, so she made a portfolio and she exhibited the portfolio to the student. It was wonderful.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, and
Thank you,
then
Kaki.
yeah.
Kageki, is it okay if I talk to you for a while? I wanted to ask you what Tekisan means. You called it
Uh-huh.
Tekisan Democratic
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
University. Yeah.
Yeah, tekisen is an old word, and teki means a drop of water, and sen means how to say, shaping the stone.
Ah, yes.
So the drop of the just a drop of the water cannot do anything maybe, but drops of the water will shape the stone
Yeah.
gradually. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah. That's a lovely image. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And because the name of the building is Tokyo Do, so the student said that's a good name for the building as well. Yeah.
Right. And I wanted to ask you about, is Tokyo Shure School still going? And are you still sort of connected with them, even though you've moved into this new organization?
Yeah. Tokyo Shure also runs five democratic schools, five campuses, and I'm still connected. And Tokyo Shure has actually two um, organization, and I am board of one of the organization still now, so I'm still connected.
Right. It sounds like a wonderful development for what you've been working on over so many years. Yeah. And I guess the students are pretty excited about it all happening. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And but the how to say, moving is huge thing. So at this moment,
Yeah.
students are a bit exhausted. Yeah. Uh, Making building walls or the making kitchen facilities or these kind of things they do. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
that's fun,
That's great.
but at the same time a bit tired. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jackie,
Fantastic.
have
Yeah.
you
Thank you.
have you tracked the graduates of the previous Shure college? Do you know where some of those students have gone? And if so, can you use that for recruitment of new students?
Jerry, I cannot hear the first part of your question. Would you say your question again, please?
Have you tracked the graduates of the previous college? Graduates of the college? And is it connected in any way to this one, or is this considered to be completely new?
The graduates are still connected, but we haven't done a kind of survey, so we do not have a statistics. But quite many of them, I know how they are doing. Yeah, but sorry, I cannot show you the statistics.
So you can use some of those stories for recruiting new students, right? I mean, you must have some good stories. Why don't you tell us one?
And actually, at the New Democratic School (TDU), 4 support staff people are all of them are graduates, and so these 4 staff are, how to say, partly they are our staff members, but partly they have another professional jobs. So these are very good environment too.
Kageki, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, so Dilip from Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
2 questions. Now, at the early stage, early part of your presentation, there was a little interruption. So maybe you said it and I have missed it. One of your slides mentioned there's about 150, 200 democratic schools in Japan, and it's at the Ministry of Education says so. So do you mean like democratic schools in the sense of what we're talking of in this conference? There's that many in Japan?
Yeah, that's a good question. The Minister of Education said for 500 democratic schools we have in Japan, but not all of them are very democratic. Some of them, how to say, yeah, not all of them are fully democratic. Some are very democratic.
All follow a curriculum, right? They have to follow a curriculum though.
Almost all of these are independent from the government. So, how to say, as a definition of schools by the Minister of Education, all these are not schools by law because they don't follow national curriculum. In Japan, all the schools by law must follow national curriculum. And free democratic school do not want to follow national curriculum. So Japanese free democratic schools are not schools by law.
Understand. So the second question is, I think Jerry also mentioned something similar. Is there about the connection between the democratic schools, specifically the Shure school, I believe, and this democratic university? So my question is how do you, what's the entry criteria? Are there any entry criteria for democratic universities? Maybe I missed that too. Maybe you mentioned it, but I don't know. That's my questions.
You mentioned about the criteria
for entrance to the university.
I see. There is a very one important condition. That is the student, the him or herself wants to study at this democratic university. That is a very important condition. Sometimes parents really want their student to study at our democratic university, but it's not good. The student himself or herself wants to study at ours. That is very important condition. If they do not want to study here, of course, we do not accept. And we ask the applicant student spend 1 week at TDU, our democratic university, and we ask such a student, please make sure you want to study here or not. So the student spend 5 days, and then if they want to join us, we have a interview. And at the interview, we as I said, they want to join or they want to study here. That is the most important thing. And uh, um, other criteria, actually, we do not have so much.
Okay,
Yeah. And
thank you.
yeah, not at all. And actually, it's a little bit brave decision. So at this until this moment, how to say, we can accept almost all the people who wants to join us. Some
That's
students,
Great thing you're doing.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
And gives me another question. So so you explained how rigid and how regimented many things are in Japan. So of course there are state-run universities, and you mentioned that the school clique and things like that matter, and so the students of the democratic university already have broken through those cultural norms, and they're happy to step out of it, right? I mean, they're not really worried about whether there's going to be recognition for this degree or not. They just want to step out of the system. They're not coming to the university thinking, oh, this is on par with the whatever the other normal university like that. So is there some sort of ranking or some comparison between this university and the more the conventional type of university? What's your opinion on that?
TDU is so different from conventional universities, so nobody makes a comparison. So it's so different. Yeah. So it's our democratic university is out of pyramids of conventional universities. Yeah. So different. Yeah.
Kageki, do you know of any other similar colleges any place else in the world?
We have looked for because our student wants to, how to say, make a connection with such another democratic university like us. But until now, we cannot find. But um, in Spain, Aqua, a democratic school, started their democratic university uh, last September, not last, September in 2019. And they spent 1 week at our university, and they said they like our philosophy. So I think maybe their university may be very close to our university. But because of COVID-19, I cannot visit then. So I don't know.
Where is it?
In Spain. Yeah.
What-
Aqua.
You
they.
know,
Mhm.
what about the university in Israel that trains the teachers that want to teach in democratic schools? You know that one, right?
You mean IDE, Kibbutz College?
Yes.
Yeah.
What about that? Would that be connected in any way or not?
Uh-huh. When Yaakov was there, we thought we are going to have something together, but it didn't happen because Yaakov left the university. Yeah.
May I say something to this question?
Sure.
My name is Marcel. I'm in Peru, and here in Peru, around the Democratic School of Huamachuco, we are creating a collective that is trying to do the same. We have a similar goal as your university.
Great.
We have not a similar situation. We have not the same situation, but we want to help the students or people that want to grow with their dreams, to grow with their dreams, to create a life project, to develop a life project. We help them to, and we make like groups and small groups that are joining. That are how do you say? They come together as groups of interest, and they develop their own projects. Everybody develops its own project. The difference is maybe we have not the same situation, the problematic situation that you have described of your society. In Peru, this is not a problem, but there are other problems. And at the moment, we have only about 7 students that are wanting to create a project. One project might be, for example, writing a thesis, writing a PhD about the democratic school. Another one is writing a book about assemblies in public schools. Another one is creating a kindergarten that is a respectful, free kindergarten or something like this. And at the moment, these are the interests of the students. And about Ojo de Sol, I can tell you the name is Ojo de Sol. I put the internet site in the chat. Ojo de Sol is in Spain. It's as you said from Ojo de Agua, from Javier Marien. If you look on their website, it's quite good on the internet. Ojo de Sol. And I can tell you, I've made a small investigation about alternative universities, and I found about 5 inspiring projects in the world. One is yours, Kageki. I've mentioned your university, the old name, Shure University, and there is a university in Mexico also, Universidad de la Tierra, which is very interesting, also very similar. Our Pluriversidad, and then there is another project in Spain, which is not a free university, but it's an entrepreneurship. How do you say? Graduate. How do you say this? Study, and but the students, they have to undertake an entrepreneurship and create their company and make business, but on their own way. And they have no classes, obligatory classes. Everything is free to assist. So it's also very similar.
Yep.
These are the ones that I know, more or less, that I've heard about it.
Thank you very much to share with us. That's very interesting.
Have you ever tried to connect with Goddard College, Kageki?
I've heard about Goddard College. Yeah, sounds very interesting, but I haven't made a contact with them yet. I'm interested in.
Well, I'm pretty close with them. I graduated from there. I went to a alumni thing lately, and there's going to be a meeting on the 1st of November to talk about the future of the college and how it should run. But I can mention what you're doing to them.
Thank you. Yeah, and as I know, there are some independent colleges in Turkey. Group of students and the group of scholars are quite unhappy with the situation of today. They say they don't have a freedom of study under the current today's government. So group of students and a group of scholars started to have a independent academy. So already they have 5 or 6 independent academies in Turkey. And one of them, the most active one, had an international conference, and I was invited to the conference. Fortunately, it was before the COVID-19, so I could join it. And at that time, one person is from Poland. Oh yeah, in Poland, group of young people started Democratic University by themselves, and but they don't have a campus, physical campus. So that's another way. From Italy, one person had but that program was already finished. The program was done by scholars in many parts of the world, and they have annuals. So every year or every another year, they issue magazine for the academic papers. So, but it's not exactly the same as our Democratic University. So it was interesting to have such a conference.
That reminds me, are you meeting remotely at all or physically?
Sorry? Yeah, physical conference. It was
No,
19.
No, I'm talking about the college. Do you meet directly face to face, or do you do some remote stuff for your college?
Which one? Polish one? Turkish one?
Yours.
Our campus? Our TDU. We have a campus, and we open our campus from Monday to Friday. But students also can join the classes or a project through Zoom. So we have a physical campus, but they can join through Zoom. And we accept international students, but we have one problem, that's language barrier. Not so many our students speak English fluently, so that's the problem. But we accept international students, so already we had some from United States, Korea, Taiwan, Finland, Holland. Oh, one student is from Nepal. Yeah. Yep.
This is only going to make sense to you, Kageki, but remember, I told you about Kai, who lives in Tokyo. His English is perfect. And so maybe you could use him to help with some of those students with English problems.
Yeah. Great. So now we have only 5 minutes left. Oh, and I saw one question about the website of TDU. We have a website of TDU, but the information is only written in Japanese. sorry about that. Maybe later we want to have an English section. Yeah. And when we ran the Shure University, at that time we had an English section and a Chinese section. So we need to have more, how to say, information, and not only in Japanese. Please wait. So we have 3 more minutes. Do you have any question or a comment?
Don't leave 20 seconds early.
This may be very Japanese way of doing things. Yeah.
Hi, I just want to know, how do we stay in touch specifically? Because you mentioned the academy is yet in Japanese language, so maybe we, if have questions to ask in English, maybe we need to know how to contact you and things like that, if that's possible. Thank you.
Thank you. So on the web page, there is a email address, and so
Okay,
if you have a question, you can email us.
that's right. Okay, thank you.
Many people wrote messages on the chatting section. I'm sorry, I cannot read all of these.
Yes, happy birthday, Kageki. You must be almost 30 because I'm 30, because I'm only 39. So
Yeah.
I think you've answered most of the things on the chat, Kageki, that were questions. Yeah. The rest is information.
Kageki, could you write the name of your university again in the chat for
Yeah.
us? Since we can't read the website in Japanese if we don't speak Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah. And happy birthday.
Thank you.
We are celebrating.
So this is the name of our university.
Thank you.
Thank you. One very kind person quoted the URL of our university, https://tdu.academy. This is on the chatting corner.
Yeah.
So sorry. This may be very Japanese way, but it's time. So I need to disappear.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kageki. Thank you very much, and happy birthday once again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and hope to see you in Nepal soon.
Yeah, I love to do. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vida, and thank you very much for everyone.
Thank you very much for the wonderful session. Thank you.
Kageki.
Yeah.
Edward,
thank you.
we need you. Hello.
Hey. Yes, you can speak either.
Oh, Kageki. Kageki. Is Kageki still here?
Yeah.
He's still here.
Have you replied Adler yet? Because he always asks me to remind you that he needs you. He needs you to reply him.
I know. I will contact with him. Yeah, please tell
Okay.
him. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are still here, I would like to make few announcements for this for today. We have we have like 3 keynote talks for this particular day. Katerina from Ukraine, she will be talking about our own little free school, to be or not to be, in about 5 hours exactly from now. And then followed by Lise Galua. She will be talking about my body, my vessel to connect me to life. And the other one followed by that is going to be A Child's Search for Meaning by Jennifer Fox from the USA. So there are a lot of workshops. People have created a lot of workshops. So you can find it on our website, eduforfuture.org. And just feel free to join in there. Yes, Jerry.
I don't do Facebook. Very proud of that. And so, but apparently the videos are also on YouTube.
Yes, right.
How do we find that YouTube channel?
WebIdec 2020.
So what do we go to? IDEC 2020?
WebIdec 2020. Yes, you can just search WebIdec 2020 and you'll find there.
Okay.
And let me know if there is a problem. I think for the moment we have kept the videos private, some videos private, so we'll make them public as well.
Veda, just a sorry for interruption. I was a bit confused about the self-reflection and the self-assessment that is open learning. Is that topic in the evening at 8:30 p.m. or something like that?
Just a second. Yes.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Okay, so there are parallel sessions, I think, actually, there are some workshops going on along with the keynotes that we couldn't really manage, but most of the keynotes are happening just purely keynotes, there are no parallel sessions along with keynotes.
Yeah.
And is Katerina still on this evening? No.
Yes, Katerina is there. Yes.
Yeah.
In exactly about 5 hours from now, 5 hours,
Right.
I think 4 minutes less than 5 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.